Helen at Viva Pilates, and I'm just going to go through some very simple exercises which are all about pelvic stability and keeping your spine in a kind of safe and effective place. So we will start laying on our back. If you find your neck is uncomfortable, please use a pillow or a head pad if you do happen to have a Pilates block. So we're going to have our feet about hip distance. I'm just going to put our hands on our hips, and all you're going to do is just rock forward and back. So the purpose of rocking is just to get yourself an awareness of where the floor is, get a feeling of how your back is feeling, because we don't want to go anywhere that's painful. So we're just nudging in and out of flexion and back to what we call neutral when the pelvis is as level as we can manage. Everybody's spine is different. And we're doing this rock through using our abdominal muscles rather than squeezing our bottom. Shoulders want to be as relaxed as possible. So we're going to try and find that place where we're not pushing into the floor, nor are we arching and pulling away, but we're just in between, so that it is as level, as I said, as we can across the pelvis. And then, maybe so you've got a bit of proprioception, put your finger on the hip bones and thumbs on the ribs if you want to be a bit more in touch with what your body is doing, so that that space doesn't change. And all we're going to do is slide one leg away and bring it back in. And we're trying to keep the pelvis level, and we're looking up at the ceiling, so our head's in a good place. And you just let your breath flow. We're not concentrating on breathing at the moment, we're just concentrating on getting some movement whilst we keep our pelvis stable. And this is just to kind of get you back in touch with how your body's working. See if you've got any sensation around the centre. Can you feel that the muscular attachment as the legs are moving? It doesn't matter if you can't, but it's just to get an awareness of where you are in space and what happens with your pelvis. So you could do that 10 times. And then we'll do a little bit of hip mobility. Again, focus throughout this batch of exercises to keep your pelvis level. So we're just going to open to the side. That's as far as I can go without letting my hip come off, and then there's a twist, which I'm not after. I'm not after rotation. So I would do 5 on one side, just open, bring it back in. So you can feel the sort of muscular reaction to you telling your body to move. And it is a muscular reaction, so it's not just dropping it, letting it fall to the side. You're placing your leg out and bringing it back in. I'm going to do it on the other side. So this is just a hip opening action. Keeping the hips as level as we can manage. We're relaxed through the upper body, and just getting this awareness of what our pelvis does when there's weight pulling away from it. Trying to get a bit more stability there. And then we're going to bring the two moves together, so the opening and the leg slides. This is a kind of hip release. So we're going to open, slide, rotate, draw it back in. Open, slide, rotate, draw it back in. So I would do 5 in one direction, and we have to go back the other way. So you get a kind of knock-kneed effect. Don't push the other leg over. Slide, open out, draw the heel back in towards you. So you're not drifting the leg out to the side, you're keeping the sort of centre line going on, so you really feel that movement into the hip joint. So we'll do it on the other leg. We open, we slide, we rotate, bring it back in. All the time, pelvis is stable, our back is comfortable, we're not arching it, we're not pushing it into the mat, so we're trying to be as neutral as possible, just so that we've got awareness of what we're doing. And leg comes in now. Awareness of where your back is when you move, because it could be that by pushing your back into the mat all the time when you do exercise, that's aggravating your back. Who knows? But we need to be aware of what we're doing. Okay, we're then going to do a move to challenge more into your centre. You're going to bring one leg up and then bring it down. Very simple move. I just want the knee over the hip. Again, I'm not looking for masses of change. I don't want your lower back to start rocking, so I don't want any of that happening. So we're aware of where our rib cage is and where our pelvis is as we move that leg. You will breathe though, don't hold your breath. We don't want to create tension in the neck and shoulders. We then want to make it more challenging, so we'll take one leg up, we're going to keep everything level, other leg comes up to meet it. Now if that is too much, go back to just bringing the legs up one by one. We'll then take it down and down and take a moment, release. Do the other leg, so don't always pick up the same leg, looking for minimal shift as you do that. And then we'll do what we call toe taps, where we're moving the thigh away from the pelvis, from your hips, without letting the back arch. So now there's a lot more work going on. So it's the next layer to the move we did before of just lifting and lowering the leg. You might not be ready to do this straight away. There's a lot more work required to keep your back in a good place. Okay? So you might only want to do 4 taps and then take a breather and just take a relax after that. Okay. We're then just going to let your spine move because you kind of kept it fixed. We're going to bring the heels in and we're going to do a hip roll. So we've done that rolling back action earlier. We're now going to peel our hips off the floor, reaching the legs away. Bottom is working. You still breathing, and then roll it back down, trying to get as much through the back as we can, and just let it be like a wave of movement through your body. You don't want pressure to go into the neck. It's sort of mid-back. You don't want to have a head pad there so that you're raised up. Soft towel isn't too bad, but you don't really want a block whilst you're lifting your hips. All the feet, all the whole foot is on the floor. You've got a tripod effect, big toe to little toe to heel. So kind of 3 points of definite contact, but the bulk of the kind of pressure goes towards the heel. And you're just rolling in and out and keeping control of that movement. So I'll just do one more. This is just to give you a bit of release after fixing the spine for quite, for a little while whilst we were moving the legs. Good. Okay, from there we're going to go over onto our hands and knees. So we're still doing stability through the pelvis. So we're going to move your back again, just like we did with the hip rolls. We're just going to go to the lower back. So you're just going to have a small flexion and then a bit of a dip. So belly button coming towards the back and then you're dropping down. But you're placing it. So you're just rocking in and out of the lower back. If this is at all painful, don't try and do it. Just maybe engage your stomach muscles without changing your spine position. We're then going to go to the shoulders before we do the full cat stretch. You're just going to glide your shoulders together and glide them apart. So they slide in and they slide out. You're not pushing your head down. The head just follows the movement of the shoulders because your back is dipping in and out. Try not to bunch up either. We don't want that. So now we're going to bring in a full cat stretch. So you've done your lower back. You've come curled into there. We're going into that upper back. Nice stretch feeling. And away. Again, you don't have to do a big range of movement, just keep it small. I would breathe out as you're in this part and I would breathe in as you're coming out of it. Trying to feel some movement going on, a connection into your sort of spine, your stomach. We're not squeezing our bottom as you curl under and you're breathing all the time. So we'll have one more. And then when we're on all fours, we still want to be aware of where we are. So we want that position that is neither here or very dipped. I can't really do a big dip. That in between. So we're looking to be kind of as level as we can be across the back of the hips. And all we're going to do is pedal one hand up, then the other. If you imagine there was a tray on your back of drinks, you would not be spilling the drinks. We're then going to kind of keep our knees hip distance and we're going to go to the other end. So you're just lifting that knee off. This is really challenging. We're not looking for a big weight shift, so you're just engaging in your center. That will just naturally happen and just drawing the knee off. We then might do opposites, just small range. Small range is kind of harder in this move than big. Just do that again. You could do 5 on each side. And then take a little breather, go into a child's pose. Try and focus your breath deep into the center of your back so you expand. One more time. And then we'll just do one progression to this, is that we could slide the leg, but you need to feel very stable so you're not all slumped and sunk. You have a connection kind of near your armpit, drawing the shoulder away, and we just slide the leg and bring it in. Slide the leg, bring it in. So I'm trying my best to keep everything stable. I've got a tray on my back. I don't want to spill anything. This is about kind of your center, keeping you balanced. So we're not going for massive moves at this time. So you don't want to shift and move, yeah? That's not the move. You don't want to do that. That's not really helping you as much as if you keep still and then in. You could go to your arms, again, just see how you feel. It doesn't have to be high, it could just be a tap there. So with adding longer levers, it makes it harder, more work is required. And then you've obviously got both ends, again, keeping everything in control. Make sure you've got enough space. And just take a little breather and, you know, maybe make a ball again and just breathe into the center so you really expand. So have 2 deep breaths. 1 more. So just a couple of sort of pelvic awareness exercises, bit of mobility there, just to start tuning in. It's the basics to give you a good foundation, create awareness in your center of how to stabilize your body for the beginning of bigger moves. I hope that's useful. Do feel free to get in touch. See you later.